All right, good morning, Rabbi Sai. Good morning. Wow. Extremely exciting news. Elchanan Firestone, not only is he up and well, he's with us on Zoom today. He was in the hospital, he was back and forth, so I didn't know this. I wanted to call his wife this morning, but I didn't have time. I had to prepare this daf. I'm removing this guy right here. This is going bye-bye. Baruch Hashem. This one. All right, let's go from the good news to the terrible, terrible news. Of course, it's Corona days. For the really bad news, I want to read to you an email here. It's terrible, terrible stuff. This is January 28th. I read this in the Shir. It says, Mazel Tov, such lovely news. Wishing Sab and Safta hearty congratulations. Talking about my grandson who's 2 months old today. These days it's January 28th. Wishing the new mother of Shleima B'Karov, you should be Zoicha to many more simchas and family and good health. Shloimi Izagui from Manchester. We have a Manchester Chabur. It says here, the Manchester Chabur. We have a whole group of guys in Manchester who watch the daf, some of them together, some of them different, but the Rosh Chabura, Rabbi David, Bernard David, so he's part of that Chabura and they're in constant contact with us. They're on the Shir, they're now on Zoom, they write letters and all the stuff. Here's another one, January 12th. Hi Rebelli, I'm a member of the Manchester Chabura and was recently in the hospital for major surgery for a week, missing the Siyum. He's talking about the Siyum Hashas, because this is January. He had a kidney transplant, his daughter gave him a kidney. Not wishing to fall behind the new cycle, I took my art school barachas with me and started the first Mishnah, but I couldn't concentrate with all the noise from the other patients. You remember I read this live. And the nurses' disturbances, I was getting nowhere. Baruch Hashem, I went online and mamish a lifesaver. First 8-minute daf, then the full daf. Now at home recuperating, it's the first thing I listen to after davening. Many, many thanks for such a great, relaxing shir. Shlomo Azugai. Ashrecha, he says. Reb Shlomo Azugai was nifter from Corona at the age of 55. Well, I guess he had underlying issues. So, today's shir, Le'ilu Nishmas Shlomo ben Esther Zechroin Levrocha Azugai. Shem Yerachem. It's unreal. But Baruch Hashem, I was very depressed about this. And then I saw Elchanan, these mixtures, the ups and the downs. I see Elchanan, I was so, the entire Yontiv thinking, is he okay, not okay? And then Matzah Yontiv, you get this news, this terrible news. A person that communicated with us and was part of our shir, watched our shir, was nifter at a very young age. His neshama should have an aliyah. Today's shir is being sponsored, Le'ilu Nishmas, Rav Menachem Mendel Ben Tzipor Zechroin Levrocha. His neshama should have an aliyah. And then for I don't know how many days in a row, Kalman from the 5 towns. Shavua Tov, I hope it's not too late to sponsor another day with this momentum. In memory of his father, Menachem Mendel Ben Simcha, Holocaust survivor, Israeli war hero. Here's a picture, he asked that we show a picture of his father. It looks like he was also in World War II, but this is obviously in the desert in Israel, I would assume. Goes on to say that his friend that he was very worried about, Refuah Shleima for Chaim Velvel Ben Shendel of Woodmere, the retired police officer and Talmud Chacham, he was in Ground Zero, is getting better and hopefully he's getting out of the hospital today. However, unfortunately his wife is in the hospital now, Sar Gittel Bas Chai Zlata. It's funny how this thing works. Elchanan's wife had it for 2 days and nothing happened to her. And Elchanan got hit by it like crazy. Baruch Hashem, no fever for 4 days. He said he's on Zoom right now. It's unbelievable. It's a nace. And his father got to meet Eisenhower. But here's what's very interesting. 75 years ago to the day today is when his father was released from Buchenwald. So, b'schus his father, all of Ken's friends should have a refuah shleima, and all of Klal Yisrael, this terrible plague, this disease, should disappear. We need another like 10 minutes these days for the Ilu Nishmas, unfortunately. I don't know, is there enough time even to read an email? Let's read some email here. First of all, here's a picture of somebody's daughter. This is the first. Somebody's daughter learning the daf, a little kid learning the daf. I thought that was funny and cute. And here, it goes like this. This is kind of long. Jeff Gordon, not the race driver, from Boynton Beach, Florida. Started from the first Daf of Brachas and do it on YouTube every day. Thank Hashem. I want to send Rav Eli an email as I didn't pick up a Gemara since I left high school 40 years ago. How many of these emails do we have? It's unbelievable. It gives me a lot of encouragement, a lot of nachas. Somebody didn't learn for 40 years and he's learning now with our share. Too scared, out of my league. He really has been amazing, and although I've been battling some health issues, I look forward every morning these days. I might not remember much of the daf, neither do I, but as he said, it's the process and not so much the results. Thanks from the bottom of my heart. Stay safe and have healthy and happy Yontiv as best we can. Then he goes, actually was looking to at least start a daf program with his own amazing siyum last cycle. He found the 8-minute, and then he said, let me try the full shir. Think, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I haven't looked back. If I can retain one item each day, I'm better for it. That's a great way to look at it. If you can take at least one thing away from each daf, you don't have to remember the whole daf. Remember something. Bezrat Hashem, I can make it to the end. But each day I do it, I am thrilled. My wife and I actually own a unit in Gimel. Over here, Ramat Gimel, that overlooks Aleph, that we bought on paper many years ago, and we're among the first to buy up there. We'll never stay there, but find it so basher that you guys are right down the hill. And Lord willing, hope to one day bring some coffee in person, laughing out loud. One last thing. I recall Eli calling out on Donnie Fine. One day morning shir. If by any chance he's from Canada and was on Bnei Akiva Shara, then he's my old roommate. No, he's not. I don't think he's your roommate. From the program, this world is a whole lot smaller. Donnie, where are you? Are you here? I don't think Donnie. No, Donnie's much younger, I think. He said 40 years ago he learned. Anyways, Rabbi Say, I want to read you an email from Donnie. What?
That wasn't me. I'm from New York.
It wasn't you. I'm going to read an email you sent me, Donnie, a week ago. Good morning, Raveli. After today's shir, the guy mentioned Donnie, so I just put his thing and I thought it was funny. After today's shir, I thought it would be appropriate to send you a message of thanks. I've been struggling with many aspects of religion for many years. A few years ago, I committed to Minyan thanks to the encouragement of good friends like Avi Kamiansky and Ari Rosenstein and Nachum Wasaski. Wow. Our guys, New York, here. All three of them part of the shir. Once I had Minyan down pat, I wanted to learn a bit, was never able to be Keveya, any type of learning other than the Tuesday night session with Lauren Spiegelman. Also part of this year. Lauren, Shalom Aleichem. I didn't know you give shiurim in Chayvas HaTalmidim. Gewaldik. Woman, who's the guy that drives the car from your neighborhood? That's you, Lauren? Like the whole, is that you? That's the other guy. That's John? Somebody drives a car with a bunch of guys. I see them getting out every morning. Back in the day. Remember those days we used to have a base medrash? These past few weeks, I've been waking up early to do the live daf with you, and for the first time in my life, bikoveya itim la Torah. Unbelievable. So Donnie, you're in New York right now?
No, I'm in Ramat.
Oh, you're not. Okay, you're in Ramat Shilo. You're part of that chevra. Okay. So I was wondering. Let me see the background over there. I can't tell. It looks like a nice place. Yeah, no, it looks like an American house.
Behind me.
What's that?
That's Gimel behind me.
That's Gimel. Oh, so you're Ramat Shilo looking Gimel. I'm looking from over here. Okay. So first time in my life, Keveya Itim La Torah. Had it not been for the morning daf, I would probably sleep like a teenager until 12 each day. I don't know what kind of teenager you have. My teenager sleeps till 3 each day. Okay, fine, but I get the point. Thank you for getting me out of bed each morning. I also realize you put a lot of time into preparing the daf, so I wanted to acknowledge that, and thank you for that as well. I'm certain it's not easy. All right. Yeah, it depends on the day. Like these days with the corona, I don't know, it does something to me. I hope you keep going strong through the corona crisis and even after. Wishing you and your family Chakosh v'Sameach. We'll be zeichet to see the Gula very soon. Together, have a wonderful day. Dani, fine. Yishkoyach, Dani. Thanks for letting me read this in public. I hope it gives people chizuk. It's a way to be kivei itim. There's nothing better than to be kivei itim, especially in our days. What are we doing anyways at home? Please. All these hours. Rafi, you're not running anymore. You're not riding your bike anymore. That's it. Kivei itim early in the morning. That's why you're here. Otherwise, you have to be an hour share at 9 o'clock at night. All right. But I'm super excited. Yeah.
The first sponsor was Yehuda David for his father.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Let's go back. This is from Yehuda David. I forgot that. You're right. Thank you. Lilu Nishmas, Reb Menachem Mendel Ben Tzipora. Yehuda or Judah? Which one? Avi.
You can call me Judah, but really I'm really Yehuda, Eli, because you know me from like 25 years ago.
Oh my gosh. All right, Judah. Judah, the whole world knows he is Judah. I saw a guy walked over to him at a restaurant. Am I lying? He walked over and says, "You're the guy that sings at the shir. You're famous as Judah." Everybody knows he is Judah, please. Who's Yehuda? You're going to have to go back to Judah. So Judah, so no singing for you today. Unfortunately, I don't think there are any songs on today's daf. So let's get into the daf. We're holding 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like 12, 11 lines down from the top of Lamed Zayin. Don't get too excited. Yes, we are 11 lines down, but we have plenty of material to cover here. So basically, we're talking about Daf Lamed Zayin Dalef. Talking about the Mishnah Daf Lamed Vav Beis, the first Mishnah in Kira. It says that if you did Grufuk Tuma, you removed all the ashes, or you covered, the coals. You removed all the coals. Or you covered the coals with ashes. You made a layer to remind yourself that you're not allowed to use these coals. Then it says that you cannot put a tafshel on it unless you do the following. You do grufuk tuma. And the Mishnah goes into machlokes b'sham and b'silo. But we wanted to know yesterday, what is the Mishnah talking about? Is the Mishnah talking about placing a cooked item before Shabbos and leaving it in the oven, provided that you remove the coals? Or is the Mishnah, by the way, Elchanan, terrible time to be sick and getting over Corona and jumping into the sugya. But okay, listen, it happens. You got to just jump in. Rabbi said, that's the biggest chizuk. Look over there, the Elchanan Feinstein. In the hospital, Erev Yontif, people thought he was going to die. The whole Chicago was saying Tehillim for him. Here he is, he's on Zoom learning Torah. Unbelievable. That's a chizuk. So, is the Mishnah talking about Shehiyah, leaving the pot from Erev Shabbos all the way through Shabbos? Or is the Mishnah talking about Chazara, meaning I remove the pot Friday night, Shabbos morning, and after I'm done using the pot, I want to put it back in the oven, provided that there's no coals or I put a layer, then it's okay. Tashma. Gemara brings a raya. Davar Reb Chelboy Omer Reb Chama Bar Guya Omer Rav. Say in the name of Rav. Lo yishanu elo al gaba. Aval toicha asur. This that we said in the Mishnah, that you have to do grufak tuma, you have to remove the coals, is only talking about on top of the kira. So let's see the top of the kira here for a second. This is a kira, and you could put inside through this hole, and you can go on top. So Rav says no, only on top. Now, Rashi learns a funny pshat here, just to throw us a little loop here. If we are talking about chazara, says Rashi, and therefore I'm going to make a diuk about shehiyah. So Rav is talking about shehiyah. There's a secret code over here. We're talking about chazara. The Mishnah is talking about chazara. Comes Rav and teaches us halacha about shehiyah. That shehiyah is mutar, even though there's no grufa ktuma, even though he didn't remove the coals, provided it's on top. You see how this goes? If you're just to read the words, you would never see what Rashi is saying. If the Mishnah is talking about chazara, and then Rashi takes it to another step called shihiyah. So Rashi says, Tosfos argues. So what would be the diuk? The diuk is dafka shihiyah, dafka chazara, but shihiyah is mutter even without grufa ktuma if it's on top. Hainu dushani bein toichel al gaba.
Eli,
Yeah.
can you clarify? Akira, they're asking, is meant to put the pots on top or inside?
No, I clarified that. Akira is meant to do both. You could do both. It's less hot on top, it's hotter inside. And now we're going to see another difference. The difference is that inside you have the coals. Says Rav, you cannot put it, you can't do shihiyah inside. You can't leave it from Erev Shabbos all the way into Shabbos because that's called hatmana. Yeah, we didn't talk about it yesterday, but we spoke about it the other day. You can't cover a pot on Shabbos. You're literally covering the pot with all the coals by shoving it into the oven. Here. This hole right over here, you could also put pots through there. Okay, it might not be to scale with these giant pots, but this hole is not only to put coals, it's to put the pots in. But if you put it in here, then you have a problem of atmana. That's why Rav would say that shihiyah is good if you leave it on top Erev Shabbos like we do over here. Now, by the way, just as a side note, what's this blech that we use? That we cover the so everybody knows it's there that we don't turn the knobs. But what is that called? That's called grufa ktuma. By us putting the blech on top, we are removing the coals. We are removing the knobs. Those are our coals. Those are our chitui. So we're concerned that somebody's going to go over to the pot and see it's not boiling well. You're going to start moving the knob. You put that blech on and you don't move the knob. That's what that is. Okay. So that then you could do shihiyah, you could do chazara, however you hold. According to the Ramah, you could do even chazara. So, I don't know if this will help or not help. So basically the Mishnah says that chazara you need grufa. That's how we started off. The Mishnah is talking about chazara. And I'm going to make a diuk that shihiyah doesn't need grufa. Okay, so in that diuk that shihiyah doesn't need grufa, I don't have to remove the coals. Rav says that's on one condition that it's above the kira, not inside the kira. However, says the Gemara, but if you say that the Mishnah is talking about shihiyah, and it says that in shihiyah you need to remove the coals, so if there aren't any coals, who cares if it's inside or outside? There are no coals. I can't do chitui. The coals are gone. If the Mishnah is saying that there are no coals and it's talking about shihiyah, then there's no difference between above and below. Obviously, the Mishnah is talking about chazara and there are no coals, but shihiyah, there's a difference between above and below if there are coals. The Mishnah is talking about there are no coals by chazara, and you make a diuk, but shihiyah there are coals. And if there are coals, there's a major difference between above and below. Below, there's a problem of atmana, and above, there's no atmana. So what does that prove to me? That proves to me that our Mishnah is talking about shihiyah. Otherwise, Rav won't make any sense. The Mishnah is talking about chazara, and I can make a diuk in shihiyah. Otherwise, the Mishnah wouldn't make any sense. Says the Gemara, the beginning of the Mishnah was talking about shihiyah. Asay v'kai. It's talking about chazara. But you're right. Shihiyah ein chanami. Even inside would be 100% mutter according to Rav. Because Rav is only talking about chazara. That what? Ubeisil loimrim af machzirim. V'amar Rabbi Chelboy, Amar B'chamer bar Guya, Amar Rav, Leishono el al gaba. This that Beisil say, that I'm allowed to do chazara. On that comes Rav and says, only chazara that it means on top of the kira, but not inside the kira. Why not inside the kira? Because inside the kira looks like bishul. If somebody sees you, he's going to think that you're even mevashel. Other people say because of atmana. One of the two reasons. But that's what Rav says. Rav says, on Chazara, this that Beis Hillel say Chazara is okay, only on top of the Kira, not inside the Kira. Tashma. Beis Kiros Hamasimois. So I made a rudimentary picture here. Let's say you have this same Kira, but you have a dividing wall. This is a real wall inside. And what he did was, on one half, he removed all the coals. On the other half, he didn't remove any coals. Achaz grufa uktuma, v'achaz sheina grufa ve'enik ktuma. One has coals, one doesn't. Mashin al gabi grufa uktuma, ve'mashin al sheina grufa ve'enik ktuma. So I can leave a pot on the side that doesn't have coals, but I cannot put a pot on the side that does have coals. Umay mashin, v'shamrei oimrim v'loi klom, u'beis Hillel oimrim chamin avaloi tavshil. So let's see this over here. I made somewhat of a chart so we can follow this. It's not that complicated. But here, we're talking about Remeir. We're now Remeir. And we're talking about, it says that it's Grufa. Okay? So again, let's start from the beginning. Mashin al gabe Grufa uktuma. You're allowed to do Shihiyah on the Grufa Ktuma. So in other words, it's Grufa, no coals. You're allowed to do, hold on. And now he qualifies it. You see right over here, Beis Shammai say, Shihiyah is Asur, 100% Asur. Soon we're going to take this red guy and see how it fits into our Mishnah. It doesn't really fit into the Mishnah. Because in our Mishnah we say that according to Beis Shammai, you're allowed to do Shihiyah for hot water. Remember we learned last night, Shihiyah is mutter for hot water. So this Remeir doesn't fit into our Mishnah anything on for Shihiyah. You can't leave even hot water from Friday into Shabbos. You can't do it. It says Asr. Okay. Next. Ubeis Hillel oimrim chamin avaloi tavshil. Here's Beis Hillel. You're allowed to put hot water, but not a cooked item. That does not fit into our Mishnah at all. Our Mishnah says that according to Beis Hillel, you could put even cholent. You could do anything. And not only that, in our Mishnah it says, even though it's not goruf. Over here it says goruf. We're talking about a case that there are no coals. In our Mishnah it says Beis Hillel hold, even if there are coals, I can leave a cholent, I can leave anything I want, if it's Shihiyah. And Remeir says no. According to Beis Hillel, the only thing you can leave on, if there are no coals, is hot water. Really doesn't fit into our Mishnah at all. So there's two problems with Remeir in our Mishnah. Next. Okar. What does that mean, Okar? I removed my cholent pot. Now I want to do what? Chazara. That's right over here. Divrei hakol lo yachzir. I can't do any chazara. Asr, everybody holds asr. Now, look at the Mishnah. Chazara is mutter according to Beis Hillel. You see in the green? Mutter according to Beis Hillel if there are no coals. But Remeir doesn't say that. Remeir says in all cases, even no coals, grufa, no coals. Asr, according to everybody. We have a problem. Next. Now this fits beautifully into the Mishnah. That's Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda oimer, b'shamai oimrim chamin, avaloi tavshil. That's beautiful. That fits. That's exactly what we learned yesterday in the Mishnah. Hot water, according to Beis Shammai, is mutter to do shihiyah. I'm allowed to leave hot water on the fire from Erev Shabbos all the way into Shabbos. You see right over here, the Mishnah, chamin mutter, even though there are coals there. In the Mishnah, according to Beis Shammai, there are coals, you're allowed to leave hot water. Gewaldig. Somebody's raising their hand. Judah, I mean Yehuda is raising his hand.
Shalom Aleichem to your shver.
My shver is on?
Yes, sir.
No way.
Amen.
No way, let me see. Where's my shver, my dad? I don't see him. Oh, here he is. On screen 3, Dr. Friedman. Shalom Aleichem, Dr. Friedman. Once I saw you, I see already Levi Friedman. How did Avi Kamiansky get there? I don't know. Avi, you jumped to screen 3 somehow. Fine. I guess it's one of those dapim that even Elchana Feinstein and Dr. Friedman, both Magid Shurim in Chicago. Dad, you see Elchana Feinstein? Yichab, what's going on here? Hold on, let me see my father-in-law. Dad, you know about Elchana? Why didn't you tell me about Elchana? Okay, we're going back to screen 1. Hi, Dad. Thanks for putting the pressure on. Now I'm going to behave. Judah, what do you want to ask? I can't hear you.
I just wanted to say that it was my father. That's all. You know, he was a Daf Yomi, and he went to a few.
Hold on. He's plugging his father now in the middle of shir. Okay, go. Let's hear. What do you have to say?
No, he was he got up every morning at 5:30.
Yeah.
To go to shir.
He went to Daf Yomi? Daf Yomi guy?
He was a Daf Yomi guy. He was.
All right, unbelievable. It's in the Neshama Sharav and Aliyah. Oy vei Lilu Nishmas. Reb Menachem Mendel ben Tzipayro. Where was I? Before getting all excited about Mishver. All right, back down to here. Avaloi Tavshel. Ubeisil Oimrim. So now we're saying that Rabbi Yehuda fits in beautifully to the Mishnah. Beishamai Oimrim Chamin Avaloi Tavshel. So that's Rabbi Yehuda right over here. Lebishamai Chamin is mutter. What does it say in the Mishnah? According to Beishamai, Chamin is mutter. Perfect. We had yesterday hot water. You're allowed to put on. You're allowed to do shihya. Ubeisil Oimrim Chamin Vitavshel. And Beisil say everything is mutter. Even, you see, Beisil Tavshel, even a Tavshel is mutter, and that fits right in here. Tavshel is mutter. That's what we had in the Mishnah. Now let's talk about Chazara. According to Beishamai and Rabbi Yehuda, Chazara is also, according to Beisil, Chazara is mutter. And what does he say over here? It says in our Mishnah, according to Beishamai it's also, according to Beisil, it's mutter. If it's Garuf. And what are we talking about? Rabbi Yehuda is talking about Garuf. No coals. Chazar is mutter. If we're talking about Shihiyah, Masnisimani, Rabbi Yehudi. So again, what are we trying to figure out? We're trying to figure out, is the Mishnah talking about Shihiyah, or the Mishnah is talking about Chazara? So if we say the Mishnah is talking about Shihiyah, this whole thing, this Machlokes Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda fits in beautifully, and Rabbi Yehuda is our Mishnah. If we're talking about Chazara, and what about Shihiyah? Shihiyah would be mutter in every type of way. But our Mishnah is talking about Chazara. Masnisimani, loy Rabbi Yehuda, v'loy Rabbi Meir. I Rabbi Meir, kasha l'b'shamai b'choda, u'l'b'sil b'tarti. As we explained, this Mishnah, Chamin mutter loy garof, is a problem with Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. You see the red? Over here, Rameh says, Grufa is asur, according to Beis Hillel, only Chamin is mutter, but not a tafshel. I Rabbi Yehuda, Kashi Grufa Ktuma. Look, the Mishnah says, even loy garuf. And Rabbi Yehuda only says, when there are no coals. Our Mishnah is talking about even if there are coals. So coals is a problem with Rabbi Yehuda. Everything fits in beautifully with Rabbi Yehuda. The only issue that we have with Rabbi Yehuda is that Rabbi Yehuda says only in a case where he removed the coals, and then the Mishnah fits in perfectly. But the Mishnah is talking about there are no coals. Says the Gemara, a very nice answer. The Mishnah goes according to Rabbi Yehuda perfect. Just the Mishnah argues with Rabbi Yehuda on one thing, whether or not there are coals. That's the only difference. But everything fits in very nicely. Everything's lined up perfectly. It makes a lot of sense to go with Rabbi Yehuda. The one issue is the coals. Okay, so the Mishnah argues with Rabbi Yehuda on coals. Upalag bechada. So our Mishnah is going like Chananya, and it's mechulik on Rabbi Yehuda on one thing. So like Rabbi Yehuda bechada bechamim v'tavshel, v'noitim machzirim. Everything fits in perfectly. Only according to Bishamai, I could put back hot water. I could do chazara. Our Mishnah says even you could do shihiyah even if there are coals. Rabbi Yehuda savar b'lishis nami gar v'katam in iloi loi. But Rabbi Yehuda says it has to be grufa. That's the only difference between our Mishnah and Rabbi Yehuda. So at the end of the day, we don't have a really good idea of what the Mishnah is talking about. We don't have. It could go either way. So that's why there's a lot of nida in the Rishonim, what the halacha is, big machlokes in, and we're not going to get into halacha l'maisa. Ibaylu, mahu lismoich ba. If this kira is not garu for kadam, in other words, there's no coals in there, no coals. And Taisus points out, we're talking about, let's say, according to Chananya. Chananya says once it reaches machal ben drusai, you could do shihiyah. So we're talking about there's no machal ben drusai. It's a step before, or if you hold like the other man room, so it's not mevushal kol tzarkai. Can I place the pot right over here on the side, not on top, not inside, but on the side, outside of the oven? It's getting some warmth from the oven. Is that okay or not? Toicha v'gaba aser. The only isser is on top and inside. Avelismoich b'shaper dami. But perhaps it's okay to put it next to. Oidil meloishna. Maybe there's no difference. Toshma. Shteikiris hamasimois. Going back to this case of the two kiras, back side to side kiras. There's a nice wall between them. One has coals, one doesn't. It's permitted to put a pot on top of the one that doesn't have coals. This is very similar to the case of by the side of the oven. This is to the side of an oven that has coals in it. And still, I'm not concerned that you're going to jump into the oven that has coals and do chitui, start stoking the coals. Why? Because at the end of the day, there are no coals on this oven, on this kira. So it's a similar case. And it says that it's mutter. So perhaps I can bring a raya from here that's mutter to put a pot next to my kira. Says the Gemara, even though there's heat coming out from the one kira that does have coals, it's different because look, this pot is up in the air. So there's a lot of cold air that comes and cools it off. So it's different. Mashenkin, when I put the pot on the ground next to the stove, now I'm concerned that I might stoke the coals. One of the things is ktuma. What does ktuma mean? I take ashes and I cover my coals. What happens if it flares up and I have a fire again? I could do smicha. I could put a pot next to that flare, next to that oven. And I could put a pot on top of the oven, on top of the kira. And I could do chazara. Why? Because I already did ktuma. The fact that it flared up is not my problem. Shmamina lismach nami ktama in like ktama like. So for here it says mefurish l'chayra. It says there was ktama. In other words, the only time I'm allowed to do soymach, I'm allowed to put my pot on the wall, the outside wall of the kira, is Elchana Feinstein's tired. Unbelievable. I wonder why. Your mom is feeling good? It's unbelievable. Fine. So the only time I'm allowed to do smicha, I'm allowed to take a pot and put it to the side of the oven, is if it's ktuma. If I have a layer of ashes on top of my coals. Otherwise it's also ktama in like ktama loy. What's the big rise, says the Gemara? What about noitlim mimeno? It says that you could do chazara. Noitlim mimeno diktani, ktama in, lo ktama loy. So, according to you, everything has to flow. Only if you do. You're saying dafka, I can make a diuk on all the cases. Only if there's ktima. So I'm not allowed to remove a pot from an oven. Everybody knows you can remove a pot from an oven on Shabbos, even without ktuma. The problem is chazara is the problem. But to remove the pot, why do I need ktuma? But that whole brisa says that there's ktuma, that there's a layer of ashes, and I'm making a diuk. That's the only way I could be soymech a pot to a wall. So make the same diuk. The only way I could remove a shalom pot from the blech is if there's ktuma. Well, a blech is ktuma. But the only way I can remove something from an oven is if there's ktuma. And we know that's not true. So I can't make that diuk. Ella, obviously, tana noitlin mishum achzir. No, noitlin, it means I can remove a pot only because I wanted to say the second halacha of chazara. But I don't need ktuma. The same thing has to do with placing the pot on the outside of the oven. I'm only saying that because of the next halacha. They're attached. These halachas are attached. So don't bring me a raya. Don't slice it in half and say soimchim. Putting a pot on the outside of the oven needs ktuma. No, soimchim means if I am soimech and then I also want to put it on top of the oven, then I need ktuma. Says the Gemara, wait a minute. One thing has nothing to do with the other. What does placing a pot on the outside of the oven have to do with placing a pot on top of the oven? Removing a pot and putting a pot back, that's one action. I'm taking a pot off and eventually I'm going to put it back on. But taking a pot and putting it on the floor next to the oven has nothing to do with the halacha of putting a pot on top of the oven. I'm taking it off the same place and I'm putting it back in the same place. Okay, then I understand they're connected. Putting a pot on the floor and then putting it on top of the kira are two different actions. They're not connected. Says Gemara, at the end of the day, what's the halacha? I love when the Gemara does this. We go through, we break our heads, what's the halacha, and we try to prove from here, and then the Gemara pulls out a mafurish brisa that says word for word exactly our question. Could have saved us this whole thing, but the Gemara wants to go through the process. See if we could prove it from here and from there. If I have one of these kiras that I used real fuel, wood, it says mafurish, I can take a pot and put it next to it. And I can't put it on top of it. Unless there's ktuma and grufa. Just another halacha. If you have flickering coals, or you put a little bit of this flax on top of it, that means it's ktuma. Fine. The bottom line is, I can do smicha. I can take a pot and put it next to the oven, even though it's hot, even though it has coals inside. So now we're going to see a few shitas here. If you put a layer of ashes on top of the coals and it flared up, so I'm allowed to put, you have, what's a classic example? Chant. You have food that's completely made. It's already ready to eat. Just, I'm leaving it there. V'tavshel shebishel kol tzarkai. So I have chamin is hot water, and a tavshel shebishel kol tzarkai. It's already done. Now, this, by the way, if you notice, it doesn't go like Chananya. Chananya is the one that says kemach ben drusai. Over here it says kol tzarkai. Finished cooking completely. Tavlam zayin with beis. Oy vavoy, 5 minutes. Shma mino. By the way, if anybody from the shir needs matzah, any type of matzah, I have plenty of extra matzah if you need. Not you guys in Chicago, but anybody here, let me know, private message me. Another thing. Today's the third day in the Omer. We should try to remind each other. It's the third day of the Omer. Don't forget. It's not cool to be left out on the third day. Shema
One
Minom.
more thing.
Yes. We have plenty of time.
I know it's Donnie Fine's birthday, so I think at some point we're gonna all have to sing happy birthday to Donnie Fine.
Wow, what a coincidence. So we have that guy that spoke about Donnie Fine, but the wrong Donnie Fine. Then I read his email, and it's his birthday. I had no idea it's his birthday today. Unbelievable, Siyat Ishmael. Okay, beautiful. So Donnie, you should give us brachas today. Yeah, but it's probably his non-Jewish birthday, and then the brachas don't really work on the Jewish. You can give us Goyish brachas on that day. What?
Is that how it works? It doesn't count if it's your.
If you base your birthday on the day that Yashka died or whatever, how would it work? I'm not clear exactly how that works. I'm assuming it doesn't really work. We don't really care when he died and how many years from his death.
Donnie's also a kohen, so he give you a.
I'll take that bracha. By the way, on our minyan, Avi Kamiansky and Menachem Mata and Noam, our minyan, we had 5 kohanim in different porches. Unbelievable. We have an amazing minyan. Fine. By the way, you know I think they use this lashon. You know these chanyaki guys that walk around like this? They call them mitztamik viraloi. They're like shriveled up, and it's bad for them, bad for the whole world. And now we're talking about mitztamik v'yafaloi. If you shrivel up some food, if the food gets more shriveled up, but it gets better, that's chont. It's perfectly good Erev Shabbos. You can eat it, but the more you leave it on the flame, the more it shrivels up, it cooks more, v'yafaloi, and it's great for that food. Shma mina mitztamik v'yafaloi mutar. I'm allowed to put it on, I'm allowed to leave it on. Shani hacha de katma. What's the raya? The whole thing started off that he did ktama. He put some ashes on. Yes, it flamed back up, but it was still grew for ktuma. Says the Gemara, Shani hacha de katma. Yihachi ma'ila meimra. Okay, so it's hard to understand this Gemara according to Rashi. That's how he learns. We're talking about Ketuma. So the Gemara says, well, so if it's Ketuma, so then why did it have to tell me? Well, it had to tell me, it's kind of self-evident. That's what the Gemara is trying to say Chiddush here. Even though I put a layer of ashes, but it flamed up. So I would think that since it reflamed itself, it flared up again, it should go back to the original. It should be considered regular coals. Who cares that he put a layer on it? But the bottom line is, he put a layer on it. What does that layer tell me? That he's telling the world, he's saying, I don't want to use these coals anymore. I'm done. Yes, it flamed up again, but he already did his heker. He made a heker. Here's halacha in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Same thing, right? Almost word for word. He put a layer of ashes on top of his coals, but it didn't flared up. I'm allowed to do shehiyah with hot water, v'tafshil and a chon, shabisha kol tzarkoi, that was completely cooked. V'afilu gecholim shel roisem. Even roisem, according to the art scroll, this is what roisem is. It's something that makes a very, very strong fire. I didn't have time to look it up, but in Baba Basra it says, I think it was in one of the agatas over there, that a guy lit a gecholim shel roisem, and it stayed for a year, I think he said. Something like that, like a whole year. One of these guzmayis, but the point is that a gachli roisem lasts for a very long time. Somebody look it up or whatever, I'll look it up afterwards. Shma mina mitztamik v'yafaloi mutar. So you see from here, the same thing, but it's word for word. Shani hacha diktama. The only difference is the last words. Gechom shel roisem. Same teretz, we're talking about, you can't bring any proof from here, you put a layer of ashes on it. What's the chiddush? Because it flared up. But it's the exact same halacha as we started off the sugya on the top of the amud. The only addition that Rabbi Yochanan says that even if there are coals of roisem which are very strong, and by the way, there's halachas, like if you use a very, very hot oven, a tanur, not a kira, so even if you remove the coals, it has halacha of not gruva ktuma. You can remove any coals you want, but it's so hot, it retains the heat. So maybe I would think something like that over here too. You have gechom shel roisem, they're so hot, even though you removed it, whatever. I would think that it's considered not grufa ketuma. Omer Rav Sheish Omer Rabbi Yochanan. Kira shisiku begefes ubeitzim. Another halacha in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, but from Rav Sheishas. If I have a kira that I used wood as the fuel, mashin oleh cham shlehu chamol kol tzarkon. So here he says another halacha. It's mechulik. I could do shehiyah even kemachol ben drusai, like Chananya. V'tashel shlebishel kol tzarkon. Okar, but once I remove it, lo yachzir. You cannot do chazara at sheyigroiv at sheyitin efer. I could do chazara after grufa ketuma. Kasavar masnisin lahachzirtan. So he holds that the Mishnah is talking about chazara, not shehiyah, and I need grufa. Avalashois mashin afapi sheini goruf ve'enoi katum. But shehiyah, the Mishnah is talking about chazara, and it's talking about grufa ketuma, that there's no call. But shehiyah is mutter, even though there are calls. Amaravat arbayu tanini. What do I need this? They're both mafurish and mishnayos. Lashis tanino inoisim isapas b'dei tanur. Anybody remember that sugya? I'll try to remind you. We had a mafurish mishnah all the way in Daf Yomi that if you put a bread into the oven, I'm not sure that this is a good oven because it's very open on the top. Those ovens were very narrow. That's why they retain the heat well. But this is just for l'saber sa'oizen to show what a pas means. But they put the pot on the wall of the oven. Imcha sheikha. So Mela, since it's a tanur, not a kira, over here we're talking about a tanur. A tanur is extremely hot. So like I said before, it's not goru for katum. It means that it's as if there's coals there, even if you remove the coals. So says Rav Sheishes, over there it says in the Mishnah, you can allow to leave it there if the bread is not brown, it didn't get a little bit brown, so you're not allowed to leave it there. So he's medayik karmu paneh shari. But once it's fully baked, then it's mutter. So it's a good diuk. That's what we were saying over here. This halacha of chazara we also learned in our Mishnah. You're allowed to do chazara. And only if it's garuf, like in our Mishnah. Chazara. Says the Gemara, you're right. That Mishnah Daf Yomi that talks about bread is a diuk. It doesn't say mefurish that if the bread is completely baked, you're allowed to leave it. That's a nice diuk. But he had to bring that diuk, so that's why he had to repeat it. He just wanted to make sure that everybody's on the same page. That Mishnah talks about bread that's not fully baked, but I could be medayik. If it's fully baked, I'm allowed to leave it. Another halacha in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, different. Three machlokes here. Kira shesiku begefes. In other words, another shita in Rabbi Yochanan. Kira shesiku begefes v'eitzim. Mashin oleo tafshel. I'm sorry, boys, I didn't make a chart for this. But that's what happens when I have to say shir on Sunday. I only finished shir last night at 10 o'clock. Started preparing. By the time I got here, no chart to show the three shitas. We just had Rav Sheishes. Kemachol ben Drusai is okay. Where he says, Kirish is cool, begefes ubeitzim, mashin oleo tafshel, shabishel kol tzarkoi, v'chamin shuchamo kol tzarkon. So according to Rav Sheishes, even machol ben Drusai. This beginning of the sugya had Rabbi Chanan, it says, mistamik v'yafa is usr. Over here he says, if it's bishel kol tzarkoi, afilu mitztamik v'yafaloi is mutter. How do you say? Why do you say the Rabbi Yochanan says it's mutter? Rav and Shmuel say it's asur. Amarlei, atalei, atulesle ano yoda. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shmuel mistamik v'yafaloi asur. Of course, Rav and Shmuel hold it's asur. I'm saying Rabbi Yochanan. What do you bring me a right from Rav and Shmuel? And in fact, the Gemara continues. Atun, you guys that live in Bavel, you live next to Rav Shmuel, Avidik Rav Shmuel. Mitztamik v'yafalai, even a chant that's completely done, but since you add a little bit by leaving it on the flame, it gets a little better, it's asur to leave. But we passing like Rabbi Yochanan. We're from Eretz Yisrael. We passing like Rabbi Yochanan. Mitztamik v'yafalai. If the chunk gets better, you're allowed to leave it on the flame. Amalei Abaye Rav Yosef Ma'u Lishos. Are you allowed to do shihiyah? What's going on here? So for that you have to look in Taisus all the way in the bottom. Taisus explains Ma'u Lishos Be'ena Grufa V'lei Bishul Kol Tzarki Kabay. So one way to understand Abaye's question is that he did not remove the coals and it's not cooked completely. Another way to learn it says, Oi, b'mitztamik v'yafaloi. It's cooked completely, but it gets even better by leaving it on. As Abaye, am I allowed to leave it on? Amar lei, Rav Yehuda mashu levachal. Oh, I can prove it to you from Rav Yehuda. He used to do shehiyah in such a case. Let's say b'mitztamik v'yafaloi. Amar lei, bar minei de Rav Yehuda. What are you proving me from Rav Yehuda? The kivan the mesukan who he had something called bulmus, something to do with you needed to eat all the time. I feel b'Shabbos nami shoylim evidlei. He's allowed to cook food on Shabbos. He was sick. Leave it loch. Don't bring me any right from Rabbi Yehuda. Omar Surah Mashu. In Surah they would do Shihiyah. The Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak Maridu Uvda have. What is Maridu Uvda? He was a person with good meisim, medactic b'meisim. He was very, very careful. So if he did it, that means it's mutter, and he did Shihiyah. In a case of, let's say, mitztamik v'yafaloi, or in a case that there are no there are coals, and it wasn't mevushal completely. Omer Rav Ashi, Koamino Kamei de Rav Huna. I was there by Rav Huna, V'shonle Kosed the Harsan of Acha. Kosed the Harsan, we had this in V'dizor a lot. It's a dish made out of fish, and the fish oil, and some flour. And he did shehiyah. So you see, Rav Huna did shehiyah. He let this dish of fish and fish oil and flour to sit on the oven from Erev Shabbos all the way into Shabbos. Perhaps since it has flour and flour is really bad, the more you leave the flour on, anything that has flour contains flour. Maybe one or two things not. But anything that has flour, there's no such thing as mistamik v'yavaloi. It's mistamik viraloi. It's like those frumies. It's not good. It's very bad. So I'm not sure if Rav Huna holds that mistamik v'yavaloi is okay, and that's why he left it on. Or maybe just in this case, it happens to be a case of mistamik viraloi because it has flour in it. Or Rav Nachman, mistamik v'yavaloi asur, mistamik viraloi mutar. So he paskins that if it makes the tafshil better, it's asur to do shehiyah. Claude the milsa called the isbei mecha mitztamik viraloi. You should just know that if it has flour, it automatically becomes mitztamik viraloi, and therefore it would be mutter to leave it on the flame from Erev Shabbos into Shabbos. The bar mitavshil de lifta, only a turnip dish that has flour in it, it's mutter. It's not mitztamik viraloi. Davgav the isbei mecha mitztamik v'yavaloi. For whatever reason, turnips and flour doesn't become worse the longer you leave it on the flame. I don't know if it becomes better, but it doesn't become worse. This bay bisra. If the turnip has meat, so the meat, the fat in the meat makes it better, like chont. So even turnips, if it doesn't have meat, the longer you leave it on, since it has flour, it's mistamik viraloi. If you're trying to serve this shalom turnip dish to guests, so even if you have meat, it's mistamik viraloi. Why? Because yes, it makes the dish better, but it shrinks the meat, and you want to show off to your guests. You want to give them nice portions of meat, so that's considered mistamik viraloi. Mistamik viraloi. Lapda, if you have figs, daisa with oatmeal, vitamre and dates. Mitztamik viralohem. That's considered mitztamik viraloi. And everybody together, we're going to mute everybody. We have to sing a nice happy birthday. Listen, any excuse we could sing. Happy birthday to Danny. Happy birthday to Noam. To Danny. Happy birthday to Danny. Welcome to the Daf and Steigaway Kaveitim. Happy birthday to Danny. You should finish shots with us and come on our cruise. Is my shver still on?
We also have
Yeah.
Michael Dinowitz, new guy on YouTube. First time listening, really enjoys it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Hi.